Discover your Daraj.
Presenting Love Uber Eats, a platform to donate essential items to those in need.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's another edition of Sitback with Shaq and Anu. It's a Thursday evening, and we're back right here live on Channel 1 Dialogue TV and, of course, our Pod Hub channel on YouTube. Back on the show with another fantastic guest for you.
That's right. Welcome to the show. Of course, Thursday, as we like to call it, is Friday. Because,
You will never get it.
So it's a wonderful feeling.
It is a wonderful feeling.
Anyway, welcome to the show. And today we, find some interesting information from this unique guest that we have. And the potential that, his particular field, which is Ayurveda, what it holds for Sri Lanka, and how we can actually develop more visits to Sri Lanka through Ayurveda. I bet you didn't think of that.
Yeah, I mean, health tourism is what they would like. They called it before. Now they've coined it in a bit more, I suppose, the word that we use is a bit more posh.
Okay, which is?
Wellness.
Yes, of course, wellness.
Wellness tourism. And so, I mean, we're going to be talking about that, and also we're going to be talking about the ancient art of Ayurveda itself.
Absolutely.
And we have so many individuals who actually practice that in Sri Lanka.
Absolutely. Some do it for very strange reasons.
Some say they do it, but we don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but we'll get to the bottom of all of that. But today is no different from, all our other shows, and we do have a poll for you that is very much in keeping with the topic at hand. So without further ado, let's get into that right after this message from our sponsors.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz, where you explore and discover whatever you want, whatever you need. All you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraj.
A meal isn't just food. It's hope, nourishment, and love. And right now, we need it all. Presenting Love Uber Eats, a platform to donate essential items to those in need. Send preset ration packs on Uber Eats, and we will match every donation and deliver it with love.
All right, without further ado, let's get into today's poll, and it is this. You'll see it on your screen right now. Is our quick fix society turning too quickly to pills than treating the root cause of illness, that is, okay?
Yeah.
So we've seen this all around our society now because everybody wants to get back to work faster. There are commitments to keep. So, they need a quick fix. But is this the way to go? So is our quick fix society turning too quickly to pills than treating the root cause? Yes or no answers only. Please WhatsApp your answers to our hotline number 077 669 1590. And at the end of the show, we'll tell you how the responses stand. And if you do have questions for our guests on any of these shows, use this same number to WhatsApp your questions in 077 669 1590. That's our hotline.
Thank you so much to our wonderful sponsors on the show. Thanks so much, Daraz, for being a part of the show. Thank you very much to our friends who just jumped on the show just a couple of days ago. Uber on the show with us with a fantastic campaign that's going on right now.
Absolutely. Very humane, timely.
Exactly.
And it's required, and thank heavens that Uber Eats is on the ball.
And we're going to give our details about our sponsors as we move on. But right now it's time for us to welcome our guest on the show with us. Welcome to the show, Dr. Palitha Serasinghe. Dr. Serasinghe, how are you today?
Hello. Hello, thank you.
Dr. Serasinghe is actually coming to us live from London, am I right?
Yes, I'm from London.
Wonderful, great. Welcome to the show, Dr. Serasinghe. And how's life after the Queen in London?
Yeah, it is getting into a new era, the King's era, I think we are supposed, but I think the UK also facing into a financial crisis, it seems to be.
Right. Doctor, jumping straight into the conversation right now, of all specialities you could have chosen, why did you get into Ayurveda medicine?
Oh, good question. I think I think that was my destiny. Say during my schooling period, of course, I wanted to do medicine. I was interested in medicine, but as usual, I didn't have enough results to go into the medical faculty. Although I was selected to the biomedical sciences, the BSc program. But I came to know about this Ayurveda college, and then I thought, why not? I go for Ayurveda. Of course, in our childhood, we have used Ayurvedic medicine for our illnesses, so we are familiar with Ayurveda. So I thought, so it's a good opportunity for me to study Ayurvedic medicine. So then I got into the College of Ayurveda, which is situated in Rajagiriya.
Correct.
Later on, that was absorbed into the University of Colombo, and that became an Institute of Indigenous Medicine under University of Colombo.
So, Dr. Serasinghe, I just want to ask you, there are multiple systems in the world for treating ailment. Allopathy is what everybody is familiar with, which is Western medicine. There's Ayurveda, there's homeopathy, there's naturopathy. How old is Ayurveda really in the world?
Yeah, the known history of Ayurveda is about 5,000 years. 5,000 years, but I believe it is more than 5,000 years. According to the history, it says that this science was created by self-realization power by the god Brahma. So
Right.
it could be a god, it could be the natural intelligence which is available in the universe. So, however, this was created maybe many thousands or even a million years ago. So people were using Ayurvedic system of medicine, especially in our part of the world, for a long time. But the known history, written history in the ancient textbooks, it is about 5,000 years.
Dr. Serasinghe, so can you just briefly explain to us what is the difference? What is the main difference between allopathy and Ayurveda, Ayurveda and homeopathy, and Ayurveda and naturopathy? I think allopathy is what everybody is familiar with, so
Yeah, allopathy is the modern biomedical science,
Yeah.
Biomedicine. We call it allopathic medicine or the biomedicine. The Ayurvedic system of medicine is actually based on a very theoretical concepts known as Vata Pitta Kapha, as you know.
Yeah.
The three body humors. So we look at the three body humors, the balances and the imbalances of the three body humors in the body. And also there are other factors like the tissue elements, the digestive and metabolic power, and so there is the Ayurvedic system of medicine is based on these concepts. And when we diagnose, we try to understand the imbalances of these factors in the body, and then we address the issue. Whereas the allopathic medicine is based on more evidence-based, of course. No one can say there is no evidence for Ayurveda, but it is based on what you call these randomized trials. So they discover the medicines based on the randomized clinical trials, and it is also based on the modern physiology and the modern pathophysiology.
So, doctor, is it true to say that Ayurvedic medicine actually prevents the disease and allopathy really cures the disease? Is that how we look at it?
No, I think both the systems have approaches for preventive aspect as well as the curative aspect.
Right.
But Ayurvedic system of medicine gives more emphasis for prevention. Yes, so there is there are two scopes of Ayurvedic system of medicine. One we call as Swastha Rakshana, which is positive health promotion, and the other side is curative side. So there are 8 specialities of Ayurvedic system of medicine. So it is the same with the allopathic medicine as well. So they have preventative medicine as well as the curative aspect.
Yeah.
But you are right, because in Ayurvedic system of medicine, we talk about, we emphasize on the preventative aspect, also the lifestyle medicine. So we look at the whole holistically. When we treat, we don't. So that could be another, difference between the allopathic system and the Ayurvedic system of medicine. Whereas we look at the body, mind, and spiritual aspects of the patient.
Right.
Not only that, the environmental aspects of the patient. So holistic approach. In Ayurvedic medicine, holistic approach is there. Whereas in allopathic medicine, they look at the pathology of the disease itself and then treat that directly.
Right. Doctor, now you said Ayurvedic medicine has been around for 5,000 years or even possibly more. Why has it not taken off in the world in that case?
It has taken off in the world, I suppose. although maybe it is slow, and we think that it is not popular around the world, but it is catching up. But first of all, we have to make sure that is very well recognized and developed within our countries, within Sri Lanka. Then only we can approach to the world. But if we go back to some history, in 1977, World Health Organization, for the first time, they passed a resolution to utilize the complementary therapies, complementary medicines, or the indigenous systems of medicine available within their member countries. So among those, Ayurvedic system of medicine and the Chinese system of medicine was selected as 2 traditional systems of medicine that should be focused for research and development.
Wow, okay.
So that is going back to 1977. And in 1982, WHO started a program for traditional medicine. So in about a couple of years ago, they developed a special program and also teaching, learning benchmarks for Ayurvedic system of medicine. So that is slowly happening. So what we should perhaps do is develop Ayurveda within Sri Lanka, whereas so that we can approach the world. So add on to that, so there is a huge demand for Ayurvedic medicine in other countries, especially USA, Germany, UK, Japan, Sweden. And there are, teaching institutes. Unfortunately, they are not university courses, but, private colleges. I would say almost every European country. In America, you have a couple of colleges teaching Ayurvedic system of medicine. So it has, expanded throughout the world.
So this is just as well, because what we are going to talk about today is wellness tourism, and if we are to be if Sri Lanka is to be considered the now actually people don't think that India is the home of Ayurveda, but more Sri Lanka is the home of Ayurveda. So this plays very well into our strategy, Doctor.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, first of all, we need to now. We cannot deny that Ayurveda was, originated in India.
Of course. Yes.
But we also had our own indigenous system of medicine. And at one point, maybe Ayurvedic system of medicine was integrated into the indigenous system of medicine prevailing at that time. And now what we practice is a mixture of our own indigenous system as well as the Ayurvedic medicine. But, so if we want to promote Ayurvedic system of medicine to the world from Sri Lanka, so we need to identify our own USPs. So it's not we cannot claim, India is not the origin of Ayurveda.
Yeah, we certainly can't, yeah. But I was talking more about perception, how it is
perception.
seen. Yeah.
Yes, how it is seen, and so there are some even physicians who claim, our system of medicine is older than India. So there is no, I think, in my personal view, there is no point in getting into those kind of arguments. But we have to utilize the strength of India as well.
Right.
So we have to utilize the work they have been doing with Ayurveda. Now, for example, the Prime Minister of India, he himself is quite a lot dedicated to developing, expanding Ayurveda to the world. He even introduced this Ayurveda Day,
Right.
Oh, right.
which is celebrated all over the world. So we have to probably utilize that strength as well as we have to understand, we have to identify our own unique selling points, USPs, and then work on that, build on that, so that we can give something new, something different to India.
Absolutely.
So we have to give something different from India to the world if we want to, get a prominent place.
So, Dr. Serasinghe, what would you say are our USPs? When it comes to Ayurveda in Sri Lanka, what are our USPs?
Yes, so one is, I think, Buddhism.
Right.
So one is Buddhism. So our Ayurvedic principles, the principles that we use is somewhat integrated or mixed with the Buddhist philosophy.
Right.
Right.
So meditation, for example. So, and then another USP is like our culture.
Right.
Most of the foreigners who come into Sri Lanka, they like the culture, they love the culture, they love the people of Sri Lanka. So I think it's very different from India, for example.
Yeah.
So the smiling face of Sri Lankans.
Yeah. Dr. Serasinghe, now obviously Sri Lanka is one of the countries that practices Ayurvedic medicine like we're talking about. How can we push our country into, obviously putting our country in the map as a destination for health tourism or wellness tourism? How do we start? I mean, the thing is this, if we've got lots of hotels actually do have Ayurvedic spas.
Yeah.
They have lots of Ayurvedic spas. But that is, I believe it's like by the way, you can.
And it's just a very minimalistic aspect of what Ayurveda can do.
That's right.
That is just, immediate wellness, a massage.
And that is for tourists who just come in, stay at the resort, and by the way, come to a spa.
Yeah.
How do we turn that into we really want to come to Sri Lanka for wellness, for health? How do we work that out?
Absolutely, you are very, very correct. I very much agree with your point. Now, as far as I know, this wellness tourism with Ayurveda was started in 1984. Sorry, 1981 or so. So when I was in my fourth year at the college. So I remember there was a hotel who started this place. And after that, this spread all over the country. Now, if you go to a hotel, so like every hotel, you have a restaurant, like that you have a Ayurvedic center.
Right.
So, So, I mean, there are different standards of these centers as well. I think there should be proper regulation. That's a different story, different fact we need to probably consider separately. But coming back to into your point, so we have been in the wellness industry for quite a long time. And whereas, so that has given a lot of recognition to the Ayurveda and also provided a lot of jobs for Ayurvedic doctors as well as therapists. So that have actually contributed quite a lot for Ayurveda. Also bringing in foreign currency and the tourists.
Right,
But
of course.
I think now we should go into the next level. So now health tourism, we have at least two major areas. One is wellness, and the other one is the medical tourism.
Right.
In yes, in wellness tourism, so people go to spas or whatever places to enhance their wellness
Right.
or the emotional well-being, to become more healthy, to promote the health. Whereas in medical tourism, people go to other countries to receive treatment for some kind of ailments.
Right.
Right.
For example, even to the UK, there are many medical tourists come in and they receive the medical treatment, like countries from even Germany, so various other countries. Why do they come? They come because, one, for the better medical treatment, advanced medical treatment, and secondly, for the cost. Again, India is leading in that manner compared to Sri Lanka. There are many patients going into India for treating diseases. I'm talking about allopathy in this case. Like even for heart surgeries, the Europeans, US, from US or even, so they go to India because that is more cheaper compared to receiving the same treatment in their own country.
Right.
So we also have to get into that level with Ayurvedic medicine in Sri Lanka. We have to identify, yes.
Dr. Serasinghe, so, the thing is, now, what does it take? Is it government policy that needs to change? Because I'm sure
Yes.
Ayurveda is a known system, therapeutic system in the world. It's not, I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. A lot of people around the world have seen it. I mean, millions of tourists that have come here, I think about, or 99% of them have gone to the Ayurvedic center in whatever hotel they were staying, and so they even have a basic understanding of what Ayurveda is.
Right.
The music, the ambience, the oils, the slow movements, all have kind of promoted that, okay, this is the way to wellness.
Yes.
So what does it take? Does the government need to take a more active role in promoting this?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Government has to take a more active role and then get into the next level. So as I mentioned, so we have been in the wellness industry for a long time now. So we have to get into the next level for treatments. So we have to identify certain area. Now, for example, on my point of view, one example is de-addiction. So if we can develop a de-addiction center, integrated de-addiction center.
Right.
What I mean by integrative is even, bringing in the allopathic doctors also into that,
Right.
and also Ayurvedic medicine. So the treatments could be given with Ayurvedic system of medicine. But, de-addiction, it's a huge problem around the world.
Right.
Like, yes, it is a problem in Arabic countries.
Right.
It is a problem in the US. It is a problem in the Western, European countries. So therefore, I think, in my personal view, Sri Lanka has a very good potential of developing a de-addiction center with integrating meditation, the environment, being in the, this tropical environment is also helps to come out of the addiction. So things like that. This is just one example, my personal view.
Right.
But the Department of Ayurveda have to sit with the doctors and then to do some research and find out what are the diseases that we can offer to other people or to the medical tourists. Another example is known as Shara Sutra. Shara Sutra is a surgery, actually a parasurgery, which is used to treat the anal fistulas.
Right.
Right.
Now, in allopathic system of medicine, anal fistula is, of course, a surgical condition, and so you need about 7-8 days of hospitalization and a very painful condition, and also that can reoccur. Even after the surgery, it can reoccur. But one surgeon in India, sometime back, he actually did a lot of work, a lot of research on this, and he reintroduced this Ayurvedic surgical method. If you remember Dr. Pilapitiya, who passed away, he used to practice this. And also there are Ayurvedic doctors now trained for this. So this is one thing, but this has to be this hospital has to be a super specialty hospital with all the facilities. So the government has to take this initiative to develop separate wards, maybe at the National Hospital of Ayurveda in Borella, or at Navinna, they can develop a nice super specialty section with all the facilities and offer these treatments to patients. So we have the strengths, we have the clinical expertise to do these things. Yeah, so we need to utilize those things.
I think this is, sorry, Anu. I think this is a great time for us to obviously, jump into these things, because of course we are trying to promote Sri Lanka and getting tourists into Sri Lanka.
Absolutely.
We're trying to obviously...
And we want to give more reasons for tourists to come to Sri Lanka.
Yeah, this is what I actually picked up today, Doctor. Now this was actually numbers from 2017, 5 years ago. Globally, around 14 million to 16 million patients travel outside their home countries to seek treatment, right, back in 2017. Clearly the numbers must have definitely gone up in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
How can Sri Lanka capture even 2% of that?
Yeah, so that's what I said. So we need to identify what we are going to offer, no? What are our strengths. So then only we can offer those.
Dr. Serasinghe,
the government has to work on this, take the initiative, and invest on this, and then try out with one single disease, for example.
Right.
One is enough.
Yeah.
One is enough.
Dr. Serasinghe, the other thing I wanted to ask you was, now, it could be a private investment too, if you do the right kind of marketing for it, it can work. But my question is this. For all of our Ayurvedic treatment done in Sri Lanka, are the ingredients locally sourced?
No, this is another very important aspect.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of medicines are imported from India.
Yeah.
So this is another aspect that, before opening the Ayurveda to the world, we have to cater our own people.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have to be self-sufficient with medicines first of all. So this is another forgotten area, cultivation of medicinal plants. So we need to promote that. Cultivation of medicinal plants is forgotten. Now, even in Colombo, in the gardens, we were able to find most of the herbs when we were kids.
Yeah.
Right.
But today, today you cannot find even, this elabatu. Can you find elabatu?
Today
No.
you can't find anybody having a garden in their house.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Yes.
Absolutely. So
Everybody has a balcony in their apartment where they're growing whatever they can.
yes. Yeah, and deforestation.
Yeah.
Deforestation. We just collect, all the seeds from the forest, and we destroy the forests for cultivations, building houses, buildings, hotels, etc., etc. So therefore, we are losing the vegetation. We are losing the medicinal plants. So the answer is we need to, have a mass scale cultivations. This is a very important area. I'm very thankful for you for bringing this question now. So we are not self-sufficient at all. And if you read the history, during King Dutagamunu's time, so there were large. If you go to Bonaragala, you can see those cultivations, Arluburunelli cultivations.
Yeah.
So again, this is another area. So first of all, we have to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And also, we should cater our own people first. So we should make sure that our people have all the medicines that they are needed, and also they get a good service out of Ayurvedic services, hospitals and the central dispensaries, and also from the private sector.
Dr.
So in order
now,
to do that, that is the starting point, I suppose.
Yeah. So, which brings me to my next question. How much of Ayurvedic knowledge, I mean, that has originated in Sri Lanka, which fused together with the Indian system of Ayurveda, which was invented there, how much of this knowledge has been lost?
Oh, tremendously, because especially these our traditional physicians, they had tremendous knowledge, very sometimes unbelievable treatments. For example, fracture healing, snake bites, paralysis treatments.
Yeah.
So we haven't preserved this knowledge. So we have lost. So there should be a system. In fact, when I came out of the university, the very first proposal I wrote was a proposal to WHO, but that didn't materialize because that has to go through many routes. So therefore, that didn't materialize. So my proposal was to establish a project to recruit graduated Ayurvedic doctors, young graduates, to work under a traditional physician for 3-4 years, and they learn the practices from that traditional physician, and become a specialist in that area. Because this traditional system of medicine was passing to their sons and daughters. So what happened was, due to socio-economic reasons, so these children, they didn't study Ayurveda. They went into other the jobs and so on.
Right.
So therefore, no one in their family carried out that system. So therefore, we have lost. We haven't preserved. So it's very sad. At least now we are not too late to go to these traditional physicians and collect their. But they should be given a proper recognition.
Correct.
Sometimes
Right.
they are not willing to give that knowledge because they have a fear they will lose their intellectual property. So they should be given a proper recognition by the government, and so they should be paid properly, and then get this at least a recognition, and then preserve this knowledge. It's very, very important to preserve this knowledge.
Doctor, they usually say that there's always an opportunity in every calamity, and what we are witnessing today purely because of the economic crisis we are going through, we do have shortage of medicine in the country,
Correct.
which is understandable.
Shortage of Western medicine.
Shortage of Western medicine.
Yes.
What we see also right now is a gradual turn towards holistic medicine. Individuals who are basically going to their family doctors are now looking for that Veda Mahatya.
Yeah.
They're actually going towards Ayurveda because they know that that is not something that it'll be shortage of. And if they want to start something, don't you think this is also a good time to actually start pushing Ayurvedic medicine at the moment?
Absolutely. It's a very good time to rebuild. It's a very good time to rethink about, getting. So, I mean, that leads to another very important point where to think about whether we are utilizing Ayurveda properly within Sri Lanka.
Right.
Correct.
Right? So government, of course, have established government hospitals,
Yeah.
central dispensaries, that's fine. There are 2 universities, 3 universities in fact, so they are producing Ayurvedic doctors, that's all fine. So government have, invested in all those, for all those facilities. But these Ayurvedic doctors are not being properly utilized within the national health system. So these 2 systems are just running as 2 parallel systems. Sometimes we have a cabinet minister, sometimes we have a state minister.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes
Sometimes we don't have a minister.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes we don't have a minister. So and so there is no proper place given in the national health system, I think. So first of all, we need to have need to identify what are the areas that can be covered by Ayurveda, and that will reduce the burden on the allopathic system of medicine.
Of course.
The Western hospitals.
And our dependence on foreign medicines, it's a huge saving for the country at the same time. Dr.
Yes,
Serasinghe, now you are teaching Ayurveda in the UK at King's College, no less. In your opinion, okay, now for England, Sri Lanka is not the ideal holiday destination. They would much rather go to Spain, Italy, hang around Europe basically during the summer. So, in your opinion, do you think this kind of push, wellness tourism, especially concentrated around Ayurveda, as invented by Sri Lanka, like the Sri Lankan version of Ayurveda, is it a good proposition to kind of drive the numbers? Do you think so?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Now, for example, Kerala, the government of Kerala, they spend quite a lot of money on propaganda.
Yeah.
So whereas we do only very little. Now, the Turkey government, they have a special program for wellness tourists as well as medical tourists, where they offer discounted rates for Turkish Airlines.
Right.
So that is government sponsored. So there should be a very, huge propaganda marketing drive in the Europe in order to attract more. But still, having said that, we receive quite a lot of, especially German guests coming into Sri Lanka, as you know.
Correct, yes.
So, but we need to expand on that, isn't it?
Doctor, isn't that because of the fact that Germany is one of the countries that actually covers, they are covered by their insurance, but not many countries actually do that, where they can go out of the country, have their medical treatment and still be covered at home?
Yeah, that is one of the main reasons. That is one of the main reasons. Again, so they have understood, for some reason, I don't know, they have understood the benefit of this special unique treatment area which we provide, what we call the Panchakarma treatments, and that is a treatment for biopurification. Because most of the diseases, the prevailing diseases in the modern society, you know, among all the causes, two main causes are stress and the toxins.
Yeah.
So therefore, people are looking for stress relief as well as detoxification. So this the system of medicine, this particular treatment method, which is known as panchakarma, is known as biopurification. So it purifies the body, detoxifies the body. So they came to know about this treatment, and they come into Sri Lanka. So they have gone one step beyond the wellness again. So those who are coming for wellness, they just come for a holiday and have, you know, spa treatments or whatever it is, and then have experience a little bit of yoga, so health cuisines and etc. So they rejuvenate themselves. But
I think
some
I think
of
we
the
really
German
need
tests,
to we really need to sort of I mean, Sri Lanka is a country that's got so many different aspects we can actually market as far as tourism is concerned.
Yeah.
It's not just the beaches, it's not just the wildlife,
Yeah.
you know. I mean,
No, yeah, it should be a more holistic approach.
Exactly,
You know? So
exactly.
wellness is all about beauty in the outside and the inside. Which actually
absolutely.
brings us,
Germans,
which brings us to an important
they
question,
went
which
one step forward. Sorry.
Dr. Serasinghe, Sonali asked this question. You can see it on your screen.
Huh?
What major beliefs underlie Ayurveda?
Major beliefs.
Yeah.
Uh,
It could be religious. It could be, you know, in some scientific methodology.
no, it is scientific methodology.
Yeah.
The basic principles of Ayurveda is not a belief. It's not a belief. So it's I think highly scientific.
Yeah.
So even with modern scientific researchers, so there are that there is philosophy, of course. There's a philosophy, but it's not a belief. It is a system of medicine. So it's based on certain concepts, theories, and facts. Now, so for example, we use sesame oil to massage the body. No? Basically, sesame oil based medicated oils. Sesame
Right.
oil is considered as the queen of all the oils because that is considered to have to give best benefits. Now, if you look at the chemical composition of various oils, now chemical components like palmitic acid, oleic acid, arachidonic acid, these kind of fatty acids are there in almost every oil. But sesame oil contains 1%, just 1% of a compound, not just a compound, a group of compounds known as lignans, just 1%. And that makes sesame oil is different from the other oils. These lignans contain, various compounds known as sesamine, sesaminol, and so on. So they are weak antioxidants.
Right.
But our texts recommend us to cure the sesame oil before using it. Curing means we have to, heat that to a high temperature for a longer time.
Right.
Right? So this scientifically we know now these weak antioxidants convert into a very active component, active component known as sesamol. So I don't know how these ancient people knew all this chemistry. They knew sesame oil is different from all the other oils. And not only that, so they knew that this has to be cured before using. So how did they know this? So it's highly scientific. It's not a belief.
Doctor, taking us into a very important question right now, which of course I wanted to find out exactly how this played. The last couple of years, the world has basically gone through a massive pandemic in terms of COVID-19. And they're up to date still right now. There is no definite medicine that can actually prevent you from getting that. What role could have the Ayurvedic side played in that, and what did they actually do?
Yes. In 2020, March, actually, I wrote an outline proposal on how we can, contribute to fight this virus. How Ayurveda could, and it was an outline proposal, and then I sent this to all the ministers, parliamentarians, but I never got a reply.
Are you surprised?
But yeah,
I mean, that's not
surprised.
surprising.
I never got a reply.
They usually don't reply many things.
Yes, yes. But I thought so. I mean, we have to do something.
Yeah.
Right.
Because this is a very serious condition. If we can, support this fight against the virus, at least in a very small manner, so that would have been useful. But although that was not considered, so there was a lot of discussions going on in Sri Lanka within the Ayurveda community, and then there were a few discussions with the health sector as well. Probably you have seen those in the mass media, TV and all. But what happened was the Ayurvedic doctors, the Ayurveda community in Sri Lanka wanted to contribute, but they were not given they were not given the proper opportunity to do that. So that is why all these, Paniya and the Hatti Mutti things happened. Yeah. So ultimately, so there was a time where even the health sector, the allopathic section realized that, okay, we have to utilize Ayurvedic system of medicine. And then they started a couple of centers, one in Buralla, the National Hospital, and also one in Navina Hospital. So they started treating centers. So at least, so if we grade it to grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 cases, so Ayurvedic hospitals could have, handle grade 1, grade 2, mild, moderate cases, so that the Western hospitals where, they could handle the severe cases. So therefore, we could reduce the burden on the Western hospitals. So there should be a very good collaboration between the two health sectors, and then we can, give a better service to the people.
Absolutely.
And once again, so it's a very well-known fact. No? So almost everyone in Sri Lanka started using Ayurvedic herbs as a preventative medicine. Kottamalli, Inguru, Venivalgata. We even did a small survey at one of the hotels. So there were about 110 employees. So we did, with a small questionnaire, we did a survey to see what percentage of these employees are using some kind of preventative medicine. So our results shows just only 1% did use any preventative medicine. So most of them, they use Kottamalli, Guru, Venivalgata.
Yeah.
So as you know, Venivalgata is well known as an antiviral herb, which has antiviral effect.
Yeah.
And also after that, the Ayurvedic department, the ministry, they introduced this Suvadharani, which is also a very common recipe. So people started using. So
most Sri Lankan households still have it. Most Sri Lankan households still use it.
Still they have it.
They have it as backup.
I was in Sri Lanka in March. Yeah, I was in Sri Lanka in March 22. March 2022. So we wanted to buy some asafoetida, perunkayan. So that was not available, sold out.
Yes, that's right. You're right. Actually, Dr. Harit asks this question. Are there concerns about Ayurvedic medicine? This is one of our viewers who's asking this question, Harit. Are there concerns about Ayurvedic medicine?
Yes, there could be, quality concerns. So even water, if you use it in wrong way, so it can give side effects.
Yeah.
So there is some kind of belief that herbal medicines are 100% side effects free. No, they could even produce side effects. Compared to chemical drugs, that's true. Compared to chemical drugs, the side effects are less. But there are certain herbs that we have to use only under medical advice.
Right.
So and especially what we call these rasa preparations. Rasa preparations are mineral and metals where we use mercury, silver, and various metals. So that should be only used under a prescription of a qualified medical practitioner. Now, this is another downside outside of even wellness tourism. What happens is sometimes the tourists come into Sri Lanka and then they go into a hotel. They will be given some medicine, so they feel the benefit, and then they go to another pharmacy and buy some of those medicines, go back to their country, and then keep on taking this medicine. There was a case in Germany. It gave a lot of negative publicity to Ayurvedic medicine. It's not the medicine itself; it is the wrong usage. No?
Right.
So, yeah, so because these rasa preparations, sometimes if you use it for long time, that can cause liver damage.
Absolutely.
Even kidney damage.
Doctor, Anu, over the years, I suppose individuals who have been very much in touch with herbal medicine are mothers and grandmothers.
Yeah.
Anytime something obviously happens, you have a cold, they will concoct something for you.
Absolutely.
Right? You have a cough, they pluck a few leaves from the garden and you're sorted.
Absolutely. And Dr. Serasinghe, දැන් ලංකාවේ විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා. දැන් අපිට සීනි තියෙනවා නම්, ප්‍රෙෂර් තියෙනවා නම්, මේ කෝවක්ක කොළ, තෙබු කොළ, කරවිල, so these ideas, this is actually Ayurvedic belief system, Ayurvedic systems which persist in normal society. But of course, people, I just can't understand, having a history like this, that, which is actually replete with, wholeness, wellness, curative, preventative system like this, but the major belief is still in allopathy. And I see no problem with that. But I think before we actually market it as our very own, we should believe in it.
Exactly.
Before we market it to the world as, we should wholeheartedly believe in it. And for that, I feel that government policy is very, very important.
Very important. Very important, because if we go back to the history, before the invasion of Portuguese, British especially, so our, kingdoms periods, kings periods. So starting from the king to the normal people, everyone used only Ayurvedic system of medicine.
Right.
Only Ayurveda, because there was only Ayurveda. So when they brought in the allopathic system, that should have been integrated into the existing system of medicine, especially the technology. So we are lacking in the technological development within Ayurveda. So that has not been utilized properly. So if they integrated, if they utilize the technology to develop Ayurveda, then we would have had a better system of medicine in Sri Lanka. But after the independence, somehow rather, so there was re-recognition given to Ayurveda, but still that is not enough. So if you take the budget, annual budget, health budget, I think less than 10% is given to the Ayurveda. So how can you expect a sector to develop with 4%, 5%, I think, if I am correct? So less than 10% of the health budget is just allocated to the Ayurveda. So that has to change. At least 40% of the health budget should be allocated to Ayurveda to in order to properly develop within Sri Lanka,
True, true.
and so the system of Ayurvedic services can be, cater to our
Absolutely.
own people before going into the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, to rekindle the belief system amongst the people. Dr. Serasinghe, we are at the last few minutes of the show now, but before we conclude the show, I really want to get to the bottom of this, because now when we are trying to, actually there are moves in Parliament to legalize marijuana in Sri Lanka, at least for export. Now, this is also a very important ingredient in Ayurvedic, the Ayurvedic system. So is abing. So so these are which are usually considered taboo drugs.
Yeah.
By
people.
By certain people. We certainly don't. but the thing is, I think certainly this is the time to kind of bundle these two propositions together, where we can actually make massive export revenue from marijuana and abing, and at the same time attract more and more tourism, wellness tourism into the country, kind of with the proposition of Ayurvedic wellness in Sri Lanka, the Sri Lankan way kind of.
Medicinal use, pretty much.
Yeah, medicine, cannabis and opium are very important two medicines of Ayurveda.
Yeah.
So there is no second word. So first of all, I think what happens in Pakistan, China, so the government actually cultivate large, they have large cultivations of cannabis. That is cultivated under the, protection of the army.
Right.
So that no one can steal from there. No? Right. So it's protected cultivation. Protected cultivation, and then that is only utilized for medicinal purposes. Now, the cannabis, what called the hemp oil, is legalized in Europe. In England, it is legalized. So if we actually cultivate cannabis, we can, provide that to the local Ayurvedic practitioners to make their own medicines. But there should be a proper control. So because this is a dangerous drug, no? So that should come under dangerous drug ordinance, which probably, we have to introduce a separate dangerous drug ordinance for the Ayurvedic practitioners. Now it is controlled by the allopathic sector. No? So we should have a separate dangerous drug control act for the Ayurvedic practitioners. Regulation is very important. No? So regulation is very important, as well as, so they should be given the opportunity to utilize this cultivated cannabis within Sri Lanka to produce their own medicines. And then, so we can export the cannabis to, there is a big demand to produce for multiple sclerosis. There is a disease called multiple sclerosis.
Of course.
So it is legalized to be used for MS. So that is an opportunity. Not only that, there are other medicinal plants that we should cultivate in Sri Lanka to be exported. So there is a huge market. And even like aloe vera, Komarica, there is a huge demand. And it is, freely grown in Sri Lanka. I don't know how many minutes we have, but, long ago, I was involved in a project of reforestation project, which we got some funds from UNDP. And during that time, we received a call from Russian embassy asking, so we have a buyer for Polpala. Can you supply Polpala? So we said, okay, yes, Polpala is freely available. No?
Yes.
So we met with this buyer, and then he said, can you supply 5,000 kilos per month? My heavens. 5,000 kilos. We said, I don't think we can collect 5,000. So he said, no, I need 5,000 because that is one container quantity, fits in one container. So, but we couldn't even supply 1,000 kg.
Wow.
But if you think,
so that's
Polpala grows freely in Sri Lanka. So we have to have a mass scale cultivation program. It should be a kind of outreach program. No?
Absolutely. I
So,
mean, not only will we
if
end up
we,
with a lot of foreign revenue, but we'll have a greener country, you know.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, Doctor, we're almost at the end of the show right now. But we've actually certainly learned quite a bit about Ayurvedic medicine and, of course, the treatments. Just before we do sign off, we're going to take a quick break because we started the show off with a poll. We'll come back with the survey and the results of the poll right after this.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz, where you explore and discover whatever you want, whatever you need. All you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
A meal isn't just food. It's hope, nourishment, and love. And right now, we need it all. Presenting Love Uber Eats, a platform to donate essential items to those in need. Send preset ration packs on Uber Eats, and we will match every donation and deliver it with love.
And we are back. So today's poll was very simple. It was based on the topic that we were going to discuss today. And this was it. Is our quick fix society turning too quickly to pills than treating the root cause? Yes or no answers only. And you were supposed to WhatsApp your answers to our hotline number 07766915990. And here is your response. 70% say, of course, our quick fix society is turning too quickly to pills than treating the root cause, because this is a fact. Because people get the slightest headache, they pop
2 pills.
2 pills. We don't want to mention brand names. You know, you get a cold that persists for more than a day, you've taken an antibiotic. Yeah. So there are easier, more effective and less harmful ways of dealing with it. And you know, thank you, Dr. Serasinghe, so much for kind of highlighting the need of the hour, and you know, actually kind of realigning our thinking more towards, you know, what really works for Sri Lanka and Sri Lankans, and by extension, what can work for the world.
Thank you very much for having me.
It was very interesting, Doctor.
It certainly was very interesting, Doctor. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And hopefully we'll have you back on the show where we have more to talk about Ayurvedic medicine. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And have a good evening in London.
Take care.
Yeah, good night.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Serasinghe, of course, Dr. Palitha Serasinghe, coming to us all the way from London.
That's right.
Oh, so much we learned today, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely. It was absolutely interesting, riveting, in fact. You know, and actually this gives, I want to go and talk to a few people, especially in the private sector, and say, look, this is a great opportunity.
It is, because right now, unfortunately, look, Anu, I've been walking in and out of pharmacies looking for certain types of medicines or tablets. It's not available. Right? I know for a fact that people I personally know have stopped using that and starting moving into holistic medicine.
Absolutely, because you have no choice, right?
No
because
choice.
There's import restrictions, you know, no foreign currency. What do you do? And it's not just that, you know, and we were talking a few days ago about nation branding.
Yeah.
Now, this can be a major aspect of nation branding.
That's right.
Because this just plays, you know, plays all the right notes, all the right cards, paints us in a great light, and it's true. It's not a made-up thing, it's true. This is something that we have had for thousands of years. And why not capitalize on it, you know? It'll be a healthier nation, more foreign currency, more foreign tourists, and a great brand image for Sri Lanka out there.
You know, the other thing, of course, is one of our guests last week actually said something very important, is the fact that, yes, we're going through an issue right now, but why can't we use the time that we have to actually restart?
Absolutely.
Remodel.
Reset.
Look at stuff we have right now.
Reboot.
Reboot, restart, do whatever it is. Put industries in perspective and in order. And when we do get back up there, then it automatically starts to work on its own, you know?
I'm not going to, knowing Sri Lanka, of course, I'm not going to hold my breath about kind of rebooting systems or whatever, but let's do what we can.
We'll just boot.
Let's do what we can, because there are some great ideas out there and some great people. And I've always noted that, you know, a lot of Sri Lankans out there who've, you know, gone out there in the world have really made their mark.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were, I mean, very intelligent to begin with, and there's nothing to brag. They're just smart.
Exactly. There's no pomp, there's no pageantry, nothing. There's no flair. Look, they know exactly what they're talking about. Like we had our guest on the show today, Dr. Palitha Serasinghe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to enjoy our weekend starting now.
See you guys on Monday, and of course we'll have another great guest lined up for you on Monday. So make sure you tune in to Sit Back with Shaq and Anu at 9:30 p.m. on so multiple channels. Dialogue TV Channel 1, the View app, our Facebook and YouTube platforms. Anything works, and a big thank you to our sponsors. That's of course Uber Eats and Daraz.
Have yourself a wonderful weekend and a good night.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Powered by
Discover your Daraz.
Presenting Love Uber Eats, a platform to donate essential items to those in need.